Ah, it's that time of year, huh? Christmas. Let's fucking go! Many homes and families got their own traditions, and personally, I got one of my own. Playing Batman Arkham Origins every December to really get in the holiday spirit, and I thought I would share this experience with you because it's the season of giving, and I just want to rant about how much I love this fucking game. It's honestly an underrated classic in my opinion. This game got shafted so hard by the development and the community, since it wasn't viewed as an important game at the time of it coming out because Arkham Knight was in development as this game was coming out, and people were not dead set on that game, and yada yada, whatever. And I think this game is really important because it's the first game in the chronology of the Batman Arkham games, and one of the more important ones, I believe, personally. This game sets the tone in what the characters will be going through throughout the series and the relationship between Batman and the Joker. It takes place on Christmas, so yeah. So the Arkham games were developed by Rocksteady Studios. After Arkham City came out, they decided to work on Arkham Knight, but they had another game planned that was already cooking. Arkham Origins was given to Warner Brothers Montreal. I guess a much smaller portion of Rocksteady Studios, it's sort of a sister location to it. And the game came out and it was history. And I don't even remember people talking about this game. Like, I remember it being in a GameStop when I was a kid and seeing the trailer, but that was about it. I mean, and nobody else talked about it. And then Arkham Knight came out and swept the whole world by storm, so yeah. I do love this game a lot, and I think that it has a lot of amazing moments and an amazing story. So get your bat flasks and kick back, because it's going to be a ride. So this game's story is honestly where it truly shines for me personally. The story begins as a young Batman fighting crime on Christmas Eve, and he finds out this rich prick named Black Mask has hired assassins to kill him. Batman has to figure out why and how to take him down, and then find the source of all the corruption and bullshit going on in Gotham. Now, that's just the basic plot, but there is so much more that gets revealed, such as Gotham's police corruption, the confliction of Gordon trusting Batman, Bane's tantrums he has, and the beautiful reveal of the Joker. This game does a great job of setting up so much for the universe and the stories that come much later. And I feel that it does an excellent job of introducing these characters and giving them their beginnings, especially with their relationship with Batman. Mostly Joker, though. Seeing Batman sort of lose his mind at seeing all the awful things that Joker does for the first time is actually a really nice change of pace. Because, Batman usually is very stoic in how he treats Joker's action and really just, takes all of his anger out on his punches. Alfred tries to convince Bruce to give up the life on being Batman due to how dangerous it is, and Bruce gives this amazing speech to him and storms off to continue on through the night.
Want this to be your end? Alfred, who do you see when you look at me? The boy whose shoes you used to tie every morning? The teenager you drove to his first date? While you are here every night, I am out there. The only thing between the innocent and the predatory. No, not may be. I am. When the mugger or the thief stops to think twice, that is fear. That is what I am. That is why they hired assassins, because I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises. So no, Alfred, I am not in over my head. Tonight will be my end, but it will be theirs.
Then there's another moment where Bane finds out who Batman is and breaks into the Batcave, destroys it, and almost kills Alfred. This scene is a real tearjerker and just amplifies how much baggage Batman carries. It's just such a great emotional scene. Joker's development towards Batman is also just very poetic, with how he perceives Batman. He's never met anybody who truly matched him mentally and slowly feels that he is no longer alone anymore. He goads Batman to kill him constantly, and he wants to prove a point that they're one and the same, but Batman doesn't really give a shit. And the section where you play as Joker going through his own origin story is fucking amazing. This narrative is just so fucking great, and it's just filled with awesome moments that completely capture the feel of the Batman universe. The voice acting is also amazing. Even though Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy weren't around for this game, Troy Baker and Roger Craig Smith still do a phenomenal job as replacements for the GOATs. The plot twist where Joker turns out to be the one who actually hired the assassins and disguising as Black Mask was amazing, and I didn't even see it coming the first time. And I've played this game for about 5 years now, and it still feels like a wild ride every time I play it. It's a simple story with a lot of great moments, and I just absolutely love it.
You see, it's a tradition in my house to open one present each on Christmas Eve. How about this one? And a partridge in a pear tree.
Now, this is where I get into a bit of a gray area and where I start seeing some of the faults of the game, especially the frame data and how it just completely shits off sometimes. They are extremely noticeable. I'll be honest, the gameplay is rather difficult to deal with, not because it's hard or anything, but because the game is extremely buggy and extremely glitchy. This game was not fundamentally made with a lot of care, in my opinion at least. The frames drop happen every so often, and it feels like I'm fighting against it sometimes, especially with you gliding around and grappling onto ledges. Now, when you're in a small environment, like in a story setting, the game feels pretty fucking good. Roaming around Gotham, it's just not functional, honestly. I find myself falling through the ground sometimes and hearing the same dialogue play whenever I'm in a different room and when it's not supposed to be playing. Also, the transitions to cutscenes do not feel fluid whatsoever. I mean, whenever you go into a cutscene, it shows a brief image of the cutscene that plays whenever you fast travel, and it's like the game expects you to be going in the fast travel segment, but then it corrects itself and then goes to the right cutscene. Yeah, so needless to say, the gameplay has quite a bit of issues when it comes to actually functionality, which is just unfortunate because I think this game, due for a remaster or some kind of remake. But I still love the game nonetheless. Since the combat is fun and addicting, the Predator missions are still a joy to sneak around, and, you can choke people out and just all the kinds of cool Batman shit. Also, the classic death screens are still here to taunt you. Could you imagine if you died and this is the last thing you see before fading to black?
Ha ha, you died! Get fucked, Dark Knight!
Also, this game just introduces the shot gloves too, and they are fucking awesome. You could charge up these bad boys and completely electrocute motherfuckers and zap them to the extreme. The graphics are actually just fine, and the aesthetics of the game do a really good job of capturing the vibe of Batman in the winter. It really does feel like Gotham, and the music is so fucking amazing with the orchestra. It reminds me of the Christopher Nolan movies and the Tim Burton movies with just this beautiful fucking orchestra playing in the background. It's awesome. This game also has a lot of killer boss fights too, such as the fight with Deathstroke, and my personal favorite is with Bane, where you gotta hide around and sneak up on his ass. Also, this is just my favorite Batsuit in all the games. The bulkiness and the design are just killer. There's also these side quests you can do, like saving a kidnapped girl from the Mad Hatter, stopping these bombs from going off from this group of anarchists, fighting one of the Leagues of Shadows. I guess she was an assassin, but she's secretly sort of hinting towards the League of Shadows. And it's just so much more. This game is filled with content. Also, not to mention the bridge segment where you face off against Firefly and save the hostages while disarming the bombs. Yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes on in one night.